Hi guys, my name is Ravi and I am one of the co-founders of UpGrad as well as the product head of UpGrad. So one of the questions that I get asked the most is, what are actually the skills needed to become a good product manager, right? So product management is actually a very, very broad domain. It has strong mixture of hard skills as well as soft skills. So there's no easy answer to this, but let me try my best to get you going. To begin, let's first talk about the hard skills that you really need to become a good product manager. Well, the first most important skill that you really need is a problem-solving attitude. It's something which is difficult to teach, but it's easy to practice. You know, when you're faced with a problem, do you try and find a unique, interesting, feasible solution to it? Or you're like, hey, boss, this is too difficult, I don't know how to figure this out. That problem-solving attitude is the first thing that you need to become a good product manager. Well, now that you have a good problem-solving attitude, the next thing that you really need is a strong passion and understanding of technology. Now, I don't mean that you need to be like a kick-ass coder or you need to be like a gadget geek, but you really need to appreciate and understand how different products, apps, web, they work, how do they communicate with each other, and how is technology really used to solve problems for your users, because that's, again, your core job. Also, if you don't want to get laughed at by your engineers, you pretty much need to figure it out. The next thing that you really need to do is have a deep understanding of your users. You're not building the product for yourself or your friend or your mom. They may love it, but there's a good chance if you don't really invest in understanding your users, no one's going to use your product. For a lot of products, the users might not be someone that you directly relate to, right? If you're working on a Zomato or an Instagram, you may use it, your friends may use it. But if you're working on something that's not as sexy, like a B2B app for enterprises, you may not relate to it, but you really need to still go invest, understand your user, and build something that they love. The next thing is to understand really good user experience, right? What constitutes a good way to solve a problem versus a really, really bad way for the user to solve a problem? You need to make this distinction clearly. You should look at a product and say, oh, this is easy, this is slick, this is the way I want to solve a problem, versus just dragging it out a drab user experience that really does not delight or connect with the user. Just having that design insight and be able to kind of connect it to the experience of your users is a very, very important skill as a PM. Well, the fifth hard skill that you really need is having a strong business sense, right? You may build a product that your users love, that's getting used a lot, but if it's not making any money, if it's not adding to the company's P&L, most likely it'll just get shut down. So remember, just keep an eye out on what's your company's business model and how is your product kind of furthering that business model. The final hard skill that you really need is being analytical and being data-driven. Most of the products today are being used by millions of people. They're generating huge amount of data. So if numbers make you go vary, then you're going to struggle. You really need to be able to look at all that data, understand why your users are using your product, or actually they're just coming and running away. Just you need to derive that insight of what is the next thing that your users are looking for in your product, and just be able to build it. Well, you must be thinking that I need a lot of things. I need to be good at math, I need to be good at design, I need to be good at problem solving. Well, that's not even half the battle, right? You need this whole array of strong soft skills, as we call it, to actually succeed as a PM. Let's talk about the first one. You really need to be able to lead without having direct authority. PM is a thankless job. You're working with 10, 20 people and no one reports to you. It sucks. You have to pass on all the goodwill to your team, while all the bad stuff, is just going to come to you and people are going to mop the floor with it. So really, it's through your vision, it's through your clarity, it's through your understanding of the user that you have to combine this team, motivate them, and have them going and running in one direction. That's very, very hard to do, but that's very important to be a good PM. Well, the second very important soft skill that you really need is this ability to strongly communicate with your team. You'll be working with a lot of people. Someone will have some idea, someone will want to do things differently. It's important to respect everyone, but it's also important to rally everyone together, behind a common vision. And for that, you really need to be a good communicator. And I don't mean that you need to be able to give rousing speeches or, just rile up the crowd. Actually, written communication is something very, very important. Again, you don't need to have Shakespeare in English, but you need clarity of thought, and you need to translate that clarity of thought on paper so that everyone can kind of follow what you've envisioned for your product. Well, the third key soft skill is really having a strong ability to take feedback. As a PM, I can tell you there's going to be a lot of negative feedback. Your users are always wonderfully dissatisfied, however good your product may be. Everyone in your company thinks they know how to improve the product and you're doing something wrong. So you really need to have this ability to take a lot of feedback, absorb it, don't take it personally, see what you can learn out of it and really use it to improve your product, right? If you're getting freaked out by every small thing people say that, oh, this is not working properly, or I think this could be done in a different way, then you're going to really struggle. Just be smart about it and remember what to filter out and what to really take and learn from. The final soft skill that is very, very important is ruthless prioritization. You will have 20 ideas on your plate, some of your own, hundreds from other people. You really need to prioritize what your users really want. And once you've done that, make sure that then you're top of every detail when you're building the product. This is where, along with prioritization, project management skills also come into the picture, right? When you're getting a product built, you have to be on top of every small detail of your product. Make sure it gets shipped on time, because ultimately you're going to be judged on, did the product make it to the user or not in the shape you expected it? Well, there you have it. These are the real skills that you need to be a good PM. But this is not the end of it. Depending on where you're working, you may need to be a good salesman, may need to be a good marketer, or you may need a lot of other skills. Well, easy, isn't it? You just need to have every skill in the world. Well, as they say, all you need is everything, and you can be a good PM.